what's up, hello, my name is Emma, and today I'm going to be showing you guys all of the books that I got at Book Expo and BookCon 2019. Book Expo and BookCon are two of the largest book conventions in America. Book Expo is intended for professionals working in the publishing industry. It's an opportunity not only to get advanced reader copies of books before they are published, but also to network with other people working in the industry. And then BookCon is more of a fan event. It is open to the public. Anyone from anywhere in the world is able to attend, and it's full of author signings, panels, and lots of opportunities to get new books as well. This was my 4th year attending Book Expo and my 6th year attending BookCon, and it is truly my favorite time of year. I will link some related videos from past years of the conventions down below if you want to check them out, and I do have a Book Expo vlog and a BookCon vlog coming very soon, but today we're talking about all the books and goodies I got. To be honest, the book selection at Book Expo was not my favorite that it has ever been. I feel like there just weren't a ton of books there that I was like super excited for, and unfortunately the ones I was really looking forward to I did not get. But it allowed me to find out about a ton of books that I am now very excited for, knowing that they exist, and I hope that you guys will find out about some upcoming releases that you should look out for. Most are advanced reader copies, but a few are finished versions, and then I also have 4 chapter samplers and a ton of different items like pins and swag and just all great things that I'm excited to talk about. First up, I have The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones, which comes out September of 2019. This book follows a grave digger named Rin who works to make a meager living at the bottom of a mountain that used to be inhabited by the Fae. Unfortunately, the dead don't always stay dead, and in this world we have risen corpses, which are referred to as bone houses, that begin to ferociously attack the village in a way they never have before. As a mixture between a horror novel and fairy tale, Rin has to team up with an apprentice map maker, and they must not only face the magic that has been long forgotten of the Fae, but also have to uncover some truths about themselves. I was very excited to find out about The Bone House. This was not a book that I knew existed before I entered Book Expo, but I have actually read from Emily Lloyd Jones in the past. You may have heard me recommend a book on my channel called Elusive, which I really loved, but I have not read anything from Emily Lloyd Jones since, so I'm very excited at the prospect of this new scary fantasy novel. Next up, I have The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper, which is a debut novel that comes out in February of 2020. I actually have met Phil at past Book Expos. He's a really cool dude, and I got to go to his signing, so my copy is signed and personalized, which is really cool. It says, "In this smart, heartwarming YA debut, perfect for fans of Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, 2 teen boys find love when their lives are uprooted for the parents' involvement in a NASA mission to Mars." One of our main characters is named Cal, and he is an aspiring journalist who already has built a somewhat social media following. He has an internship at a website we all know called BuzzFeed, but his life is turned upside down when his dad is accepted to go to Mars, so his family must move from Brooklyn to Houston. Enter Leon, whose mother is also an astronaut on the Mars mission, and of course you 2 boys find comfort in one another and fall in love. But Cal discovers some ulterior motives about this mission, and he has to decide between protecting himself and all he knows or exposing the truth. For a book that doesn't come out for another 6 months, I feel like this is a very hyped debut, and I feel like the excitement around it is only going to build. It is an own voices novel with gay protagonists, and it just sounds really fun, so I'm super excited to give it a try. Next up, I have another book from an author I really love that I also did not know existed until I went to Book Expo. This year, Fierce Reads had a booth where if you went to them at specific times and told them the types of books that you like to read, they would give you a recommendation based off of that. So myself loving me some dark series contemporaries, they decided to recommend to me The Liars of Mariposa Island by Jennifer Matoo, which comes out this September. Jennifer Matoo is an author you've probably heard me recommend on my channel. I absolutely loved her novel Moxie, and I surprisingly found out that she has a new book coming out, which made me so excited. This book mainly takes place in 1986, following a girl named Elena who has arrived on Mariposa Island over the summer and is very excited at the prospect of escaping her controlling mother to babysit the children of another family that has recently come. While Elena is caught up in a new romance, her brother Joaquin doesn't understand why anyone would want to come to Mariposa Island, and he has dreams of going to California to find his father and escape his mother's manipulation. And And within telling the complex stories of these two siblings, it also flashes back to their mother's experiences as a teen fleeing Cuba during the Cuban Revolution. Most people don't know this, but Jennifer Matoo is actually Cuban and Chilean. Her first language is Spanish, which makes this his own voices novel, and I need all of y'all to put it on your TBRs and support it because it's gonna be amazing. I adore Jennifer Matoo, I adore this cover, and I'm so interested in starting this story. I just cannot wait to read it and share my thoughts on it with you guys. Next up, I have Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi, which also comes out this September. Though I have not yet read Mary H.K. Choi's other novel, Emergency Contact, I did get to go to her signing and meet her, which was really cool. Our first main character is named Pablo, and he is an NYU dropout that is working a terrible job and not making enough money to pay off his student loans. Super freaking relatable. And our other main character is named Liana, who is a child star turned pop idol. She has a huge international brand, and it just seems like she is on an upward incline to success. The unlikely pair has a meet cute at 5 a.m. in a bodega in the dead of winter, and while they know that their time is limited, they begin to really open up to one another, explain who they want to be, and learn to defy everyone else's expectations of them. It sounds cute. I know that Emergency Contact got very mixed reviews, but it is a book that I'm still interested in reading, and Permanent Record is another one I'm going to be putting on my list. Next up, I have The Trials of Apollo, Book 1, The Hidden Oracle by Riordan. Now, this is not an upcoming release. It's not even a new release, and I do actually have another copy right here. But the reason I have this paperback edition is because I got to meet Riordan at this Book Expo. I was so excited to meet Riordan because he has been one of the authors I've been meaning to cross off my list. He does not go on tour very often, and if he does, I feel like his signings are very structured, like they're usually pre-signed, but I got the opportunity to meet him and tell him how much I've loved his books over the years, and it was really surreal. The Trials of Apollo series follows the Greek god Apollo, who has been cast out of Mount Olympus by Zeus and forced into the body of a teenager. In order to regain his place as a god, he has to restore 5 oracles that have gone dark, but he has to do so without any special powers. The Heroes of Olympus is one series I have not yet ventured into, and to my knowledge, The Trials of Apollo is connected, so I have a little whiles to go before I'm actually able to read this series, but the main purpose of me getting this book was the opportunity to meet Riordan, and it was very exciting and worthwhile. The next book I got at Book Expo is Imaginary Friend by Chbosky, which comes out this October. Chbosky is obviously the author of The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I feel like is like a national phenomenon for teen fiction, but I believe this is more of like an adult mystery thriller, maybe even horror novel, and I'm really intrigued by it. I also got to meet Chbosky, and he was so wonderful. I swear he just made absolutely every single person on his line feel so important and welcome, and I find that really impressive because also like he had already been signing for at least an hour by the time I got to him, and he was very energized and engaged, and it meant a lot to me. He signed it Emma, my real, not imaginary friend. P.S. You are infinite. Our main character is a single mother named Kate who flees an abusive relationship in the middle of the night with her young son named Christopher. They settle in the reclusive town of Mill Grove, Pennsylvania, which seems like the perfect place for them to get a fresh start, but shortly after they arrive, Christopher goes missing for 6 days. When Christopher is found emerging from the woods, he is not exactly the same as Kate left him. He has a voice in his head that no one can hear, and he is intent on this mission to build a treehouse by Christmas or everyone in his town will never be the same. Listen, I love a good story about a kid who goes missing and does not come back right, so I'm very intrigued by this. I can't tell if it's going to have like a sort of supernatural twist or if it's just going to be like a creepy real life book, but regardless, it sounds like it's going to be awesome. It is a massive monster of a book, and I'm really excited for it. Another book that I kind of got wrapped into picking up is The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Septis, which comes out this October. This arc drop was one of those where they just had like a ton of them lying on the floor and anyone was able to grab them, and it was just very chaotic and I didn't know what to do. So I was like, like, okay, I'll take it. But you guys recommend Rue Decepti's books to me all the time, so I don't think it was necessarily the worst book for me to get up. Like, I feel like I definitely would like to read a Rue Decepti's book one day. This is a historical fiction novel that takes place in 1957 Madrid on the brink of the Spanish Civil War. The only other thing I can really grasp from this book is that it follows 18-year-old Daniel, who is the son of an oil tycoon, and he travels to Madrid in order to connect with his mother's home country. He is a photographer, and his photography leads her to this girl named Anna, whose family has some sort of ties to the Spanish Civil War, and through his photographs he uncovers a lot of difficult truths. It is most definitely a book that is out of my comfort zone, but also after hearing Hannah from A Clockwork Reader talk about how excited she was for this book, it definitely made me interested, so it may be something that I will pick up in the future. Now, unfortunately, I was only able to attend 2 days of the 3-day Book Expo convention this year because I got sick again. So that, of course, limited not only the amount of books that I was able to take home from Book Expo this year, but also some titles that I was very excited for. But I'm very blessed that I have some good friends named Sarah and Elias who gave me 2 books that I was really interested in getting. The first is There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole, and this one comes out in September as well. I feel like my entire Book Expo book haul is for September releases, and I'm okay with it. This is one of the few books that I was really excited about before Book Expo because my friend Michael from Michael Book Lion was actually reading a copy of it, and when I read the synopsis and I saw this gorgeous cover, I was like, I gotta have this book, so I'm really thankful my friends got me it. So this is an ancient Roman fantasy novel where for centuries 7 prophets had guided humanity until one day they disappeared. Their last prophecy foretold an age of darkness where a new prophet would be born and either would be their salvation or their destruction. So apparently we follow 5 main characters: a prince exiled from his kingdom, a ruthless killer known as the Pale Hand, a once faithful leader torn between his duty and his heart, a reckless gambler with the power to find anything or anyone, and a dying girl on the verge of giving up. My expectations for this book is that it is going to be an extremely rich world full of magic with a very eclectic cast, and I am super interested in reading it. I think many of you know that like high fantasy is not my thing, and it can take a lot for me to start a new series or a new book from an author I've never read before because I like to stay within my comfort zone in this genre, but I'm really interested in it, and I think it is one that you guys should keep your eye out for. And the final book I got at Book Expo this year is The 10th Girl by Sarah Ferenc, which also comes out this September. Simmering in Patagonian myth, The 10th Girl is a gothic psychological thriller with a haunting twist. The 10th Girl actually takes place in Argentina, and it follows a girl named Mavi who is traveling to an isolated finishing school that has a curse upon its land, but she views it as an opportunity to flee from the military, which took the life of her mother. Despite all of the school's warnings, threats, and mysteries, someone important goes missing, and the rest of the school begins to act as if they are possessed by spirits. As it turns out, one of these spirits holds a secret that could unravel Mavi's entire existence, so she must solve a mystery while fighting for her life. I feel like I don't really gotta say more about this book. It sounds so dope, so dark and creepy, and I'm really intrigued. It is also one of those books that I only just found out about at Book Expo, but one I am super excited for. Now we're moving into my BookCon book haul, which is significantly smaller, which is to be expected because my BookCon experiences are not usually about getting books and meeting authors. I really like to focus on spending time with my friends, meeting new people or people I have met at previous years, and this year especially I went to quite a few panels, which is something that I have not done probably since like 2015. So it was very exciting to attend a couple of those panels, and you'll see a little bit of them in my BookCon vlog. But one main event I went to the morning of Saturday of BookCon was a breakfast hosted by Simon Teen. It was basically sort of a roundtable event where we would sit with different authors, some who might be like my favorite ever, and at the end of discussing with all of these authors, we got a ton of awesome books. So I actually managed to unload a couple of books that I already had copies copies of at home to other people, so I just have like the condensed version of the books that I was interested in keeping that I'm going to show you. First is Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. Oh, also these are like all signed, which is really cool. This is an Own Voices novel written by a Muslim author about a Muslim girl named Zainab who is really frustrated and angered by the Islamophobia she's been experiencing from her teachers at school, so she ends up taking an early spring break to travel to Qatar. While Zainab is traveling, she crosses paths with a boy named Adam who has stopped attending classes after he has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and does not want his father to know. I'm very intrigued by this book. I adore the cover. I know some of y'all don't like real people on the covers, but I just feel like the color palette and the models just look so great. I had already been interested in reading Saints and Misfits from the same author before, but getting to meet S.K. Ali and hearing her talk about her passion for her books was really inspiring and definitely makes me want to pick them up sooner than later. Next I got There's Something About Sweetie by Sandhya Menon, which is another Own Voices novel about an Indian girl. Sweetie is an immensely talented track athlete, but she faces a lot of scrutiny from her parents because she is also fat. And so in order to combat people's expectations of her, she starts this thing called the Sweeties Sassy Sweeties Project in order to show the world and herself how great she really is. Our other main character is named Ashish, and he is very gutted after his ex-girlfriend has recently dumped him. His parents are smugly confident that they will be able to find him a better match, so they sort of rope him into dating an Indian American girl under contract. So it just seems to be a really cute coming-of-age story about two teens finding themselves. I had read Sandhya Menon's debut novel, When Dimple Met Rishi, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm excited at the prospect of trying out a new story from her. To act the Simon Teen breakfast, I also received an advanced reader copy of a book that seems to be pretty hyped, and that is Cursed by Frank Miller and Thomas Wheeler, which comes out this October and is apparently also being adapted into a Netflix original series. When the host of the event announced that we would be getting an advanced reader copy of this book, tons of people at the breakfast just went, woo! So my ears perked up and I was like, ooh, this seems to be something people are interested in. Maybe I should be interested in it too. So this is a story that apparently has some King Arthur influence. It follows a girl named Nimue who has been viewed as an outcast by her small village because she has long held this connection to dark magic. But her life is changed forever when red paladins slaughter her village and her mother gives her a mission with her dying breath to reunite an ancient sword with its sorcerer. Along the way, Nimue teams up with a mercenary named Arthur and some refugee fae folk in order to unite her people, avenge her family, and learn about her true destiny. It seems like a very interesting, unique book that a lot of people are excited about. I think another interesting element is that it has all of these illustrations throughout the story by Frank Miller that seem to be very interesting, so I'm excited to see what this book holds. The next book I got is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Our main character's name is Elizabeth, and she is a sorceress who wants to become a warden of these magical grimoires that have the ability to transform into monsters so that she can protect her kingdom. When the library is sabotaged and the most dangerous grimoire is released, as Elizabeth tries to stop it, she becomes implicated for the crime. With absolutely nothing left, Elizabeth is forced to team up with her sworn enemy named Nathaniel and his demonic servant, and along the way she begins to question everything she's known about her life from magic to these libraries. I did not hear great things about An Enchantment of Ravens, which is, I believe, Margaret Rogerson's debut, and I've also heard some mixed things about Sorcery of Thorns, but it is still a book that I'm interested in reading. I've particularly heard good things about the characters of the story, and it's something I'm intrigued to read. The last book I kept from the Simon Teen Breakfast is Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, Maureen Johnson, Kelly Link, and Robin Wasserman. Ghosts of the Shadow Market is the newest novella / short story bind-up from the Shadowhunter Chronicles. All of these stories follow Brother Zechariah as he traverses through time to different shadow markets around the world. I actually just finished Ghosts of the Shadow Market today. I read the first 8 novellas as they were published online last year, and I just finished reading the last 2 today, and I really enjoyed it. I have to say, some of the novellas in the story are like my least favorite that I've read from Cassie, and then some of them are like like my absolute favorite. So it's a book I'm a little conflicted on, but overall I thought it was really great. There are stories with characters from the Mortal Instruments, the Infernal Devices, the Dark Artifices, and even the Last Hours, which is coming out this March. So if you have not picked up this novella series yet, I would highly recommend it. The last official book on this haul was actually given to me by a subscriber named Susan, who is also a booktuber, so I'll link her channel below. Thank you so much, Susan, for giving me a copy of Other Broken Things by C. Desser. The main character of this book's name is Natalie, and she is an alcoholic who is forced to go to 6 months of Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. Natalie is dealing with a lot, as number one, she doesn't believe she has a problem, and number two, all of her friends seem more interested in getting their party girl best friend back instead of actually helping her. The one person that does seem intent on helping her is another recovering alcoholic named Joe, who is funny and charming, but he is significantly older than her. Susan decided to give a copy of this book to me because it was one that she really loved and knows that I adore mental health fiction novels, and as someone who has yet to discover books about teens who are alcoholics other than this book for the first time, I'm really intrigued by it, and I think it's definitely something I'm going to pick up and enjoy, so thank you so much to Susan for giving it to me. Let me quickly show you the chapter samplers that I received this year at Book Expo and BookCon, the first being Supernova by Marissa Meyer, which is the final book in the Renegades series. I posted this on my Instagram story and everyone was so excited thinking I got an arc, but no, it's just a chapter sampler. But y'all know that Renegades was literally my favorite book of last year. I adore this series so much, and I cannot wait for the final book to come out this November. Next, I have a chapter sampler from another hugely anticipated release, and that is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in the Last Hour series. I actually stumbled upon an extra copy of this Chain of Gold sampler, and I was sent an additional copy of Ghost of the Shadow Market, so I'm going to be doing a fun giveaway on my Instagram, so you'll want to follow me at emmmabooks for the chance to win. At the Riordan signing, I was also given a chapter sampler of book 4 in the Hidden Oracle series, which is The Tyrant's Tomb. And then the final chapter sampler I got is Rebel by Marie Lu, which I believe is the newest installment in the Legend trilogy, or it is the first in a spin-off series, but as someone who loved the Legend trilogy when I first read it in 2014, I'm very interested to dive back into this world. So to close out this haul, I have some cool swag, items I received for free, items I bought at BookCon and Book Expo that I think are really fun. First up, I have this certified book scavenger patch. Also, I don't know where I got a lot of these. I have this sticker from the Topatco booth, this print from the Renegade series that says, "So long as there are heroes, there's hope that tomorrow might be better." I have this print from a book called Girl Mogul, which I don't know what it is, but I just thought the print was really cute. It says, "You are fierce, you are bold, you are unique, you are brilliant, you are divine, you are empowering, you are inspiring, you are a mogul." I have 2 Children of Blood and Bone bookmarks, one for myself and one that I need to give to my friend Natalia, who is honestly probably more obsessed with this series than myself. I have this print from the illustrated edition of Goblet of Fire, which I believe is coming out this October. So I found another chapter sampler hiding in here. I got the sampler for Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell, which is her upcoming graphic novel. Also with Children of Blood and Bone, I have this gorgeous, massive print of the cover of the sequel, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. And then also at the Rick Riordan signing, they gave me this puzzle, which is apparently a demigod map. So it has all the different demigods from all of Rick Riordan's series. This is so thorough and cool, and all I can say is I feel like we really need one for the Shadowhunter Chronicles as well. I have this Grishaverse passport, these pins inspired by the cover of Permanent Record, this pin for The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, which was one of the anticipated arcs that I wanted to get, but unfortunately was not able to get a copy of, so at least I have a pin that says Love Your Bookstore, some Supernova sunglasses. I also have this pin that was given to me by Caitlin from Chapter 108 that she made for the BookTube meetup that she hosted the night before BookCon, which I unfortunately couldn't go to because that was the day I was sick, but I saw so many booktubers walking around with these pins and I think they're so awesome, so I'm really thankful she gave me one. I'll link her channel below as well. As June is Pride Month, I got this Pride flag from Epic Reads, which I thought was a flag, but it's actually not because there's a hole in it and I don't understand what it's supposed to do because it is not a headband and it is not like a scarf. So I don't know what it's for, but it's cool and it's rainbow, so I like it. So we are moving on to the final items I got at BookCon, which were actually the few that I bought. I don't typically buy a ton of stuff at BookCon because like I spend so much money on bookish stuff all year long. I do not need the encouragement. But as I previously mentioned, there was a Topatco booth this year at Unbound, which is sort of BookCon's expansion that is dedicated to bookish artistic marketplaces and whatnot. And Topatco.com is a place where you can buy a ton of officially licensed Shadowhunter merch. So y'all know I spent a lot of money. First up, I bought this Magnus Bane plushie, which was being given out last year at BookCon, which I was not able to snag, but they were selling it and I was like, I have to own this. And now he sort of matches the Will plushie that I got from Fake Crate. I bought this patch, which is the flag of Livia's Watch from Queen of Air and Darkness. At the Topatco booth, they were also selling some items from Hebel Design, which is another place where you can buy some really incredible Shadowhunter jewelry. I actually bought something from them in 2014 and haven't bought anything since, so I'm very excited about the two necklaces I have. First up is this Clockwork Angel necklace, which is surprisingly the first one I own. I had never bought a Clockwork Angel necklace until now, and I'm really, really excited to have it. And then I also bought this Herondale ring necklace, which is like the Herondale family ring on a chain. And so the final items I bought are 3 pins that I had never seen until walking into this booth, and they were the first thing I saw, and I absolutely could not leave without having all 3 of them. But they are tarot cards inspired by all of the different mortal instruments. So we have the Mortal Cup, the Mortal Sword, and Lake Lynn. So that is it for my Book Expo and BookCon haul for 2019. I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing about the books and items that I got this year. Again, keep an eye out for those vlogs that are coming very soon because I'm working on them right now. But it was just a wonderful weekend surrounded by books and friends and authors and just the wonderful community that I'm so proud to be a part of. If you went to Book Expo or BookCon, I would love to know some of your experiences. What are the books you got? What panels did you go to? What did you enjoy most? And if you weren't able to go, I really hope you're able to join us in the future, but also let me know what books or authors or panels would you like to see if you were to go. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!